Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 24th, 2023 at approximately 4:30 p.m. BST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day to day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I personally guide my life by. Now, I've offered these tools to literally thousands of other clients, okay, with varying degrees of success depending on their own levels of effort. Now, with that in mind, before I go any further, because this being Sunday, yeah, Tuesday gives you an idea. This being Sunday, we are running open topic. And to start with, we have footballing with the gold. And we have Philip is in with the silver. Now let us see. Let's just pop this in. I haven't got the other screen up here, which is really bad, but let's face it, timing and we get along great. Where are we here? Oh, I did that too. Okay, let's just see if this works. What I'm doing is just making sure that the sound is off on the thing before I fire it up. There we are. And the sound is off. This is a good thing. So, now we do this and we are live, so we pop that in there. That way I can see what's being written. And right off the bat, we have Christine in with the bronze, and Nathan from the Quantum Show is in with honorable mention. Right behind him, we have Kevin Whippiff coming in. And here we go. Let's see. What are we up to? Let's change that. Whoop. Nathan. Of course, Nathan is the first through the door here. Okay. Well, first through the door of people that have websites I know about, like live streams I know about. So here is the live stream for Nathan. Do drop in, give him a listen. And absolutely, if you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it. Now, I absolutely agree there, Nathan. Last night, I don't think we ever got to where you were planning on going with it, but hey, what the heck? The reality of it is, I would have stayed on longer. I was on last night with you, and we had an absolute riot. Even with the odds and ends in the way of technical hiccups. Oh, look at that. We just noticed I've got a light out here. Lights are on, nobody's home. Now, what do we got here? Oh, not a problem there, Nathan. The reality is that we have to look at this and go, Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And what do we got here? Oh, this is fantastic, Joe. You are making contact, and you're going to find that you get a lot more direct answers, direct direction, a lot more direct direction than what you've been getting. But here's the neat part. Okay. You may come to a point where you start going, am I just losing my mind? Am I just imagining it? Okay. And the reality of it is this, from what I gather, because I used to question the same thing, and what I've been told is literally, if you're questioning, are you losing your mind? The answer is unequivocally no. Because if you were losing your mind, you wouldn't be asking because you'd think it was normal. Now, you're absolutely right there, Nathan. when Tim said it in the show last night was kind of like Ancient Aliens meets a pub chat. Absolutely. And Amy Tonga, you are in. Welcome aboard. Yeah, that'll stop that from falling over. Got another use for my boots here. They're cup holders as long as my feet aren't in them. And, well, what do we got here? Yeah, football's just going, yeah. So football you unsub from AI YouTube and Facebook. Now, does this mean you're not on Facebook? Well, I guess it does. How you doing, Christy Abels? Glad you could join us. Yes, I'm looking over here because my eyesight is screwed up today. But hey, I get used to it. But no, I spent a lot of time just getting my office sorted around properly. What is this? Oh, 210 and book 12. Okay, so I will deal with that tonight. Oh, gonna have to tear that loose. And who do we got in here that I just missed? That looks like I missed Carl coming through the door. I did, Carl. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully things will run a little more smoothly today, but you know how that goes. What I'm standing up for here is because of the fact I've got this hard copy calendar that I really do have to make sure I get sorted around. There we go. I am still very much a dinosaur, in case you guys hadn't pieced it together. So what I'm doing right now is just tearing a sheet off. Guys, we're down to the last week of the month. It is amazing. I'm looking at this. March 6th of 2021 was when I did my first full show. Well, more to the point, my first live stream and my first pre-record. Where are we? Well, yeah, I'm just looking at this here. Now, first and foremost, the one thing I've got to figure out is how we can actually move things in the right direction here. So, where we can make it more exciting, more enjoyable. And yes, I got to figure out the social media side of things in case you haven't pieced that together. Well, oh, that's what all that is. Okay, this neat little sheet here. Of course, my pen isn't where it belongs. Gee, shock of shocks. As we can tell, things are always, shall we say, a bit haphazard. We go up here. So, what are we looking at right now? Well, our world is a little bit screwy in case you hadn't figured out. Now, not a problem there for football. I am doing my level best to make it a safe place. There are a lot of people with a lot of different ideas, but we all have to be rather tolerant. I just have a few rules on it from my standpoint. Now, Philip, I'm going to have to be a little bit obtuse here. I know what the Georgia Guidestones are. What I don't know is what happened to them. I haven't watched the news at all, which would explain that in a hurry. Day is open. We have tomorrow is the 25th. That is, you'd think I'd actually pay more attention to the news. But what I find is that there is so much cross current and so much conflict that it just doesn't add up that well. Oh, Nathan, thank you so much. Well, there's an irreplaceable by a set of damage. That is just, I know it should happen to the person. I will tell you this. Right off the bat, you're looking at three people responsible. I do not have names, but I do know there were three people responsible. One of them in their mid-30s, male, dark hair, round about the 5'9", 5'10" mark, little on the stocky side. And there's something wrong with his eyes because the guy is still wearing glasses. Okay. There was another chap. Now, he'd have been in his mid-30s. There's another chap that is a lighter haired chap, very slender, in his early to mid-20s. Okay. Definitely with some sort of. He's gone. That's the one that's got the training. That's got the explosives training. Okay. Now, whether they'll find them or not is a real debatable point. But I will tell you there's a female involved with long black hair, long being down by the shoulder blades, maybe as long as the small of the back. Very clean cut, very prim and proper. That's the one that's got the legal background. And she's the one that made a lot of it disappear. Like a lot of the tracing disappear. Somehow that one has a connection into the investigation. Now, what the connection is, I don't know. Okay, but that's a starting point. No, Emmy, in all honesty, I really didn't. I actually didn't watch the show at all. This is the first I've ever actually heard of it. But Emmy's just going, didn't you watch Mike's last show? His eldest son and his sister were pulling all of this stuff. Even a family friend of Mike wanted a percentage of Mike's money. They blame Mike for it. Josh and Mike are okay. Yeah, I honestly do not. When I said I'm reclusive, I wasn't kidding. I avoid dealing with people a lot of the time. Quite honestly, this is just about the most social activity I get. I think last night on Nathan's show, where it came to dealing with other people. Oh, thanks, Emmy. Yo, the show last night on Nathan's show was an absolute riot. Went a little sideways on occasion, but it was definitely a lot of fun. So I mean, I'm looking at this. We look at that kind of behavior, and I'm thinking, why would you do that? Why destroy irreplaceable artifacts? The sad part of it is they did the same thing when they wiped out the Library of Alexandria. Okay, they wiped out all this information, and you just aren't going to get it again. Okay, it's just not available. And this is something that way too many people nowadays are culpable in. I wish I had a way of actually getting people to realize that this is definitely the wrong road to go down. Now I'm just looking at this. Joe's going, now that I can fix my weed whacker because my dad teaching me, I'm going to continue to do my paths out in woods and get out in that sun. Absolutely an excellent idea there, Joe. And just think, if you can do the weed whacker, it's a short jump from what I gather between the weed whacker and taking a look at your lawnmower to make sure it's running properly, assuming that catches your interest. But we have to look at this and go, These are the kinds of tools that are all of a sudden going the way of Yldrbac. And I personally don't get the idea of destroying the information from the past. We may not understand it right now, but it's information. If you destroy it, you got no prayer of understanding it. That's where the big problem comes in. And we all end up suffering for the loss. That's just reality. What am I looking at here? Now, couple of things to look at. Okay, I've turned around and I've been starting to go, okay, how do I take this and make things really a little bit more viable for people? I'm getting more and more messages that the tools I'm offering are starting to work for people. This is unfortunately a reality where I'm looking at what's going on in the chat room. And this kind of stupidity. I don't mean what's going on in the chat room is stupid. I'm talking about the events that have led to this discussion. Okay. Philip, when I go back to when I was in school, we used to teach not only economics, like we had courses in economics, we had courses in bookkeeping, but we had courses in money management as well. These used to be taught, but somewhere along the line, people from my generation decided this was just too much work. Let's not teach it anymore and see how well that pans out. Okay, in case you hadn't noticed, it doesn't work out that well. You know, and yes, absolutely their football reading maps would be an idea. Relying on Google is great until you figure out that if you have a power outage or if your computer goes down, you're pretty much hooped. That's just one of these things. And it was literally this issue of nobody teaching anymore that got me starting to think about these books. See, in school, it used to be a question of teach people, and they complain, the kids at the time, my generation, this is the bad part from my standpoint. My generation got, you know, oh yeah, my generation went, oh, I don't want to learn economics. I don't want to learn that girl stuff. I don't want to learn to cook. I'm telling you, I was amongst them. I didn't desire to learn to cook at all. Of course, I chalk that up to no sense of taste, no sense of space, and no sense of time. Cooking is not a joyful thing. What do we got? Yeah. Emmy's going, whoa. Yeah, the thing is, football, you're going, so many people drive off cliffs following GPS. Absolutely. I don't use a GPS. And there's a reason for it. I told my brother I don't use one. Well, my brother came into town last year, and he's not from, well, he's from Colony, but he hasn't been here in decades. So he comes in, he's going to take me downtown to get my license renewed. Okay. And he does use GPS. So we're riding in the car. We got to the middle of an intersection, and the GPS that he's in his car goes, "You have reached your destination." My brother turns around, looks at me, and goes, "What do you mean I reached the destination? I'm in the middle of the intersection." I said, "Look, I told you GPSs around me don't work well. Semper Fi there, Black Dragon." Um, you know, And Kevin, you are asking, what's your thoughts on every trace that virtual on? Whoa, I'm not sure I understand. I'm going to read what it literally says here. Okay, what's your thoughts on every trace that virtual? Every trace is a virtual of being that will come. No, the future is not. The future is not written. Okay, they really don't. It really isn't. When I look at future issues, okay, and what's coming down the road, basically what I'm using is extrapolation. This is the path you're on. This is the odds of what's coming up. The fact of the matter is, I see things in a different timeline, in a different time frame. Philip's just going, I always thought maps were fun, still do. Like every map is a map to buried treasure. And in a lot of ways, that's very real. See, the thing about drawing maps, when I talk about writing out a list of things, I'm talking about writing a verbal, a literary map of your success. Okay. And with that in mind, we'll get to that side of it in a minute. Right now, we have on tomorrow, we have, are we an experiment? I'm just marking down what is already listed because I'm starting to look at next week. Okay, at next week's topics. But when we take a look at it, you want buried treasure. What's up here? What are you overlooking that you could be implementing, that you could be working with in order to make your life better? Now, on the 26th, we are going to be dealing with gaming. My campaign. And by the way, just a real quick jump ahead. My campaign took an absolutely phenomenal turn today. It was just funnier than heck the way it went. Now, on the 27th, which is Wednesday, we will be looking at how to cope with dementia. And for that matter, how to bypass it. There are tricks that you can use, even if you're already in the edge of dementia. And I know that sounds silly. I know that the medical authorities will tell you this is wrong, and you can take their word for it if you'd like. But let me ask you this: would you like to give up on your mind, even if you're suffering from dementia? Maybe you're one of the lucky few. You're just enjoying it. There we go. How to cope with dementia will be on Wednesday. And then on the 28th, I won't be here, but the 29th, which is Friday, we will be dealing with the Alfred race. Whoop. I think I'm bouncing that again. But I am sticking with the Alfred race. Oh, yeah, we will do that. I'm going to bounce that. Okay. So we take on Friday, we will deal with the Alfred race itself. And all the minor permutations on it, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm over. The reason I'm over here is because this is where my calendar is. On the 30th, we are going to look at the world of investing and what works. Now, do understand, I am not a financial advisor in as much as I've never been trained for it. Imagination, what works? Now we take that and move it over behind me because I just don't require it right offhand. Joe's going, quick tip on asking someone out in public. well, will be kind and courteous, and before going up to her, look for a ring on the left finger. You see a ring, don't bother. Absolutely agree there, Joe. Absolutely agree. You know, I mean, the nice part there, you know, yes, you might be disappointed. Gee, I really wish I could ask her out. Once somebody's got a ring on their left finger, okay, if it's there, whether it's a real ring or not, like whether it's an actual marriage or not, it doesn't matter. Because what they're telling you is, I'm not looking for anybody. Leave me alone. Okay. Now there are ways that you can deal with things, but you are absolutely right, Joe. Ouch. You know, so that's those ones. Now, shouldn't put that over there. Still needed to look at it for a minute. On the 4th, we are going to look at career versus job. Okay, obviously, Sunday the 1st will be open topic. And on the 4th, we're going to take a look at career versus job. And then I was looking at something right here. I already bounced it once, which is bad, but it's really not a big problem. On the following Friday, that one is now booked. How imagination fuels future evolution is what we're going to look at on the 6th. Okay, enough going around in circles on that. What do we got here? Okay, now let's stop that from scrolling for just a minute. Yeah. Now, Philip's just going, my grandma did all her grocery shopping based on being healthy, especially brain health. Her brain outlived her health in other places, like joints and musculature. And this is the thing. This is the critical factor. If your body is failing, keep your mind active. Okay. Do your best to keep your body active. I've always held that, I will be quite, I'm going to be functioning at as close to full optimum capacity until I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, we all, the reality of it is, what do we got? I look at the arguments that people go through, and a lot of the time I'm like, why are you bothering with that? Like, is there really any point? I like the way it was put to me one day. Actually, it wasn't put to me. I forget where I saw the comment, but it was a conversation somebody was going to take. It was in a movie. And I can't give you anything specific because I just don't recall what the movie was. But it boiled down to somebody wanted to pass on a piece of information. Because he comes over, he goes, I gotta tell you. And the intended recipient looks at the gentleman and goes, wait a minute. Is your telling me going to have any beneficial effect for me? Is there any purpose to it? Okay. And, that was the friend. Well, the first question goes, is this piece of information going to hurt anybody else? Right. Second, is it going to help me at all? And he says, if the answer to the first question is yes, I don't want to hear about it because there is no point in passing on news that's going to hurt other people. Now, I do not mean lie to people to protect their emotions. Okay. I refuse to lie to people to make you feel better. But we have to realize that when we start passing on information, you know, when we start passing on, well, here's a war that's brewing when you don't have all the information, we have a potential disaster on our hands. Okay. And this is why I just don't go there. Now, when you look at where your life is, you simply have to ask the path you're on, is it accomplishing anything for you? Finally found a way to stop my pop bottle from falling over. You'd think I would have thought about it before. The biggest thing that I have to look at here is this. Okay, no matter what's going on in the world, ask yourself, is there anything you can do about it? Okay, is there anything you can do about it, and what are you doing in your own world to modify the way your world is reacting? Pretty much the case there, Philip. Philip's just saying almost every tradition, every thought tradition has heroes who lived in a cave or wandered from village to village with nothing but their clothes and an alms bowl. Okay. Now, I can relate to that all too well, except for the fact I don't go anywhere. Okay. But I have procrastinated way too far, way too long. And the reality is that we're going to have to start really looking at things and go, okay, what are we up against? Well, here's what you're walking into. Right now, there are all kinds of things being passed, all kinds of decisions being made that are making life complicated. When I was talking, when we were on the show with Nathan last night, there was some neat little piece of information that came to light. And this is why I should probably get off my tail and start reading up on some of this. You know, but when you take a look at the old bards, the old traveling minstrels that wandered around passing the news word by word. Okay, tradition used to be passed on by word of mouth, and that was all people had. Now, what seems to happen is whatever is physical is getting destroyed, and people just aren't communicating about the positive things that are happening. Okay. Now, I'm quite happy this morning for the first time in a while. I double checked my weight because, I'm still aiming at dropping to the 180. Now, the lowest I had gotten up until then that I had achieved up until this point was 194. But this morning when I checked my weight, I was down to 193. Now, for me, this is fantastic. Joe's just going, I believe in UFOs. I've never seen one personally, not that I know of. If I happen to be abducted for some stupid reason, which is highly unlikely, what should I watch out for? Okay, a couple of things, Joe. Number one, the first thing that I found is you may find that you're missing time, that you can't account for an extended period. I'm not talking a minute or two. This will usually be a couple hours that just you're totally missing it. This is an indicator. It does not mean for certain that you were absolutely abducted, but it is something to look for. Okay. Couple of things that may happen immediately following the return from an abduction is you may suffer either a potassium crash or an energy crash. Okay, you may feel like you've been run through the ringer. Okay, and what I mean by that is going off world does kick the stuffing out of you. I wonder if I can pull this information up in a hurry. Let us go. Not there. There. Let us go. Symptoms of potassium crash. Okay. Well, all I typed into Google, into the internet, was symptoms of a potassium crash. Weakness and fatigue, feeling tired, which by the way is the same thing. Muscle cramps, an abnormal heart rhythm, skip heartbeats or an irregular heartbeat. Now, do understand these same symptoms can relate to other things, and this is why I say we are not talking about absolutely solid information, solid indicators so much as potential. And you are right, Philip. Songs and poems are extremely important, and that is exactly why, because they tell about what happened. Now, I do find it kind of intriguing. Absolutely, there, Black Dragon. Black Dragon is just adding low potassium can cause hallucinations also, and this is where we get into the interesting problem. But if you're starting to see images, something to do is concentrate on that image and pull as much detail out of it as you can. Now, again, you may think it's your imagination, but once you've done it often enough, what you end up realizing is that the imagination is sometimes very indicative of the real thing and what's going on. And yeah, I see my light is changing. I have no idea why. Okay, but we are talking my house. Well, the first thing you do there, Philip, is literally because they still exist for the moment. I strongly suggest that you go to the library, go to the museum, okay, and see what poems they've got, what poems or what songs they've got written down. Now, I will tell you this: if you go to the to the North American Indians, okay, some of their elders, okay, assuming they are following proper tradition, in other words, they are teachers of all peoples. See what you can find from their songs. That will give you a starting place. You're right, Philip. A lot of the lyrics are in a symbolic language. Okay, so you have to look at what was written and what was going on at that time. Absolutely, Black Dragon. See, one thing we have to remember about music and about poetry is resonance and rhythm are at least half of the message. Okay, the speed that things are done, the sounds that are tossed, like you listen to. I'm gonna look at North American Indians. Okay, when you listen to the chanting, okay, and the Aborigines in Australia as well. When you listen to the chanting, it's a vibratory rate they're hitting that is so important. That is so important. Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, what do we got here? Um, well, yeah, and unfortunately, Philip, when you talk about some of the symbols have changed, absolutely. And then we take a look at what happened with the Stones. People come along and go, "Oh, I'm just going to be violent and quite frankly short-sighted. I'm just going to blow it up." Okay, I'm just going to destroy it so nobody can see it anymore. Now, this is just wrong in my eyes. That kind of behavior is absolutely pathetic. Fred's going, just jumping in, bagpipe music was chanted to pass on. Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. And still, personally, I love the sound of bagpipes when they're played properly. When they're not played properly, it's scary. That's fantastic, Ferret. It's one of those skills. Yeah, if the bagpipes are in tune, this is great. Or if the person can play them, because even if a bagpipe is out of tune, somebody mentioned it the other day in here that everybody can sing well in their own key. It may not be the key everybody else is expecting, but if you stick to your own key, then the sound can come out. You know, but this is why I say we've got to start turning to our creative side. Now, what do I got here? So I've got half of next week already booked. This is actually not bad. Now, I look at this and go, where is your life? Where is my life sitting? Am I content? Well, the reality is I'm not, which is why I finally got my calendar up here properly set up. Yeah, I've got my Coke. That's okay, I'm allowed. And we take this little calendar. Like I said, I'm very much a dinosaur. I still use a desktop calendar, but it's working for me. Now, it certainly won't work for everybody, but it works for me. Come on, time here. There we go. So I look at it this way. That would be something to hear. I wonder if they've got that. Not that I'm going to listen to it right now, but let us see if I can find. Well, that was real easy. I just looked it up on the net. Yeah, Battle Hymn of the Republic. There are some beautiful ones. I don't think there really are. What? Okay, I just went sideways there. My problem is I swear I'm half tone deaf, but that may be just a question of I was told so often I couldn't sing that I finally quit trying. I quit giving any effort to it. But again, music itself, they say it soothes the savage breast. It does. Okay. Music also, by the way, is the cure for depression. And this is why a lot of the time I have the music going on in the background. Okay. Yeah, the only problem I have with operatic now, the big bands I like, opera and the opera, when we're talking about those kind of notes, I find them actually hurt my ears. I'm just curious here, so bear with me. Oh yeah, it's not gonna work. Oh, not gonna work if I leave the volume. That, by the way, in case you were wondering, that is The bagpipes. What I was listening to right there was the Amazing Grace on the bagpipe by bagpipes. You know, from my standpoint, I just came to the conclusion. I heard it so often I couldn't sing that I just gave up. You know, See, one of the things I have to look at is this. We've got a world here that we've got to go back to we've got to go back to the old teachings. Okay. I was brought up to believe never talk to your kids about money because it's too much for them. So what do people do? They ignore the money side of it. Don't tell the kids. And when the kids get older, all of a sudden they're going like, holy mackerel, what do I do? Uh-oh. You know, Christine's going, I can't listen to bagpipes. I'll start howling. You know, one of the things I find is this. If we continue going down the road we're on and not passing on the knowledge from our childhood, from our own parents, if this information gets lost, it's going to be a royal pain to bring it back. Okay. Which is why I've started doing the drying and what have you again. Because I used to do a lot of it. But we've got to look at the world and go, okay, what are we not passing on? Now, I've got my list here. That's all been moved over. Okay, that had better be done today. Um, you know, so we are on what the heck is today? 24th. Okay, so I am definitely going to have to do that. So we do this. Take that, and that is not what I'm looking for. Okay, open that up. And we go open. Where is it? Browse. And we go. It is going to be October that's got to go out. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what that needs. Black Dragon, I had the same problem. Now what? Let me see. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. Okay, maybe I should slow my mind down here. Who just showed up? Derek. My apologies. When I said I was going to go down to check the mail yesterday right after the show, I told you it was 30 feet down the hall. It is. Problem is, the mailbox I use for the business is out on the other side. Well, it's halfway across Rutland. Like it's basically 10 minutes down the road. And unfortunately, being as I don't leave the house much, the post office, if there is anything that I've got to pick up, they're closed on Sunday. Which means I now have to go down tomorrow morning as soon as the post office opens to check. But I do hope things are going well. The funny thing is, when we look at community, okay, no matter how big how big the city is you live in, one thing I discovered, really, one thing I discovered was that no matter how big the city you're living in, the average person lives inside a 9-block square area. In other words, 81 square blocks. Okay. And, that is regardless of where you're living. So, the fact I don't leave my house much does cause a bit of a hiccup. Where are we here? Oh, I don't even know where to begin with that one, Derek, but I do know we had a lot of fun with it. Part of the problem with the show with the panel last night was we were having some technical and technological problems on Nathan's part, but we just went with it, and wherever the show went, that's where it was. I don't know what the guy's last name was, but Tim in the room said, this is kind of like aliens meet a pub chat. You know, it just went all over the place, but we had a lot of fun with it. And ultimately, that is the point. Okay, that really is the critical issue. Because if we're not enjoying ourselves, and this is the thing here, this is why I don't stop cross chatter. As long as people are enjoying themselves, as long as people are respecting each other, and as long as we are all learning, okay, this is the idea. You know, now we have here, who brought that up? You know, I did when we're looking at pets here. I used to, yeah, we just went sideways on that one. I used to have a black lab Bouvier cross that literally thought it was a lapdog. Now this also seems to be, by the way, a Bouvier is kind of like a fuzzy horse. Okay. Where are we? That's a good way of putting it there, Philip. Oh, yeah, the lady that was on Nathan's panel, that is Robin. Raven, sorry. That is Raven from the rabbit hole. That's who that was. And since we brought her up, how about if we do this? We go rabbit hole. Where the heck is it? This is the link to Raven's show. And like I've been on her show a couple of times, and it is an interesting journey. I certainly recommend you drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she has to say, do give her a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Speaking of which, if you like this stream, do give us a thumbs up, please. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. It's time we made this world a better one for virtually everybody. Now, there are certain to be people that complain. Oh, okay. You're thinking Lynn. You're looking at Lynn. And yeah, Lynn is one of the rarest people I've ever run into. Okay, she is as real as they come. You know, and she's one of the people that if I end up running into a snag, I will call if I run into a snag as far as understanding something on the spiritual side of it. I will turn to her because she's got a different take on it than I do, but she is absolutely brilliantly insightful. Okay. I actually wait. She is one of the two people that I was planning on going down and visiting this in October here. That has gone the way of the dodo bird unless something really weird happens. But if I'd have been thinking about it and might just pull it off yet. If I had been thinking about it, all of a sudden, because the government folded, right? The time for the trip down there I could do. Problem is, I need about $2,000 to make the run, and at this point, I just don't have it. Mind you, that might change. No, that is not her husband. Okay, the chap in the center of the screen. Okay, that was Shadow, as in Shadow and Sun Shadow. Okay, I'm just trying to remember. We had Nathan, we had Shadow and Sun. There's another person I can't quite picture off the top of my head. Then we had Joe. We had the older guy. That was Joe. Okay, and still not Lynn's husband. Okay, but he is a good friend. Okay, now I don't know him well, but he's a good friend of theirs. No, no, they're just very long-standing friends. I've actually met Lynn's husband. Again, now that's a guy. Well, Lynn's husband Frank is actually a necromancer, or no, a technomancer. He is definitely not a necromancer. But no, the thing with that panel is that the people on that panel, even outside of the panel, get along great. Now, I was asked just yesterday, as a matter of fact, if I would be interested, and I might have been asked in here, if I was interested in bringing people on here. Once I figure out how to do it, I'm starting to do the research myself to figure things out. I don't know the technology side of it. And the last thing I want to do is put a critical hiccup in things. You know, I'm trying to do things. Yeah, I made a mistake there, though. That is. Oh, what did I just do here? Definitely did that wrong. There we are. That should have come out as a technomancer. A technomancer is somebody that can get electronics to work on a whim. And I kid you not, I've watched this guy sit down and he literally will talk to a computer and the thing, even though it should be dead, will just all of a sudden start to work. I don't understand it. I look at them crosswise and the poor things die. But I got to take a look and see what I've got to do it afterwards. But draw a line across there. Yeah, somebody that works on computers is technical or a technician. A technomancer is somebody that will take a purportedly dead piece of electronic or piece of equipment, and by literally putting their hands on it, I don't mean here's a tool, let's turn and crank this, or let's tighten that bolt. I mean literally, you know, here's the tech, right? Here's the tech. Put the hands on it, think for a minute, and the thing wakes up and starts to work. That is a technomancer. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Way back, if you guys read comics, okay. If you guys read comics, there was a series way back, a Marvel comic called Alpha Flight. There was a gentleman there that used to control vehicles. He was a technomancer. In gaming terms, you're talking about a rigger. Forrest Louie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, I'm looking at the world and going, okay, spirits can absolutely, spirits can absolutely enter technology. Okay, they can enter inanimate objects. And that can be a bit disconcerting. You know, um, yeah, Philip, a rigger is somebody from Shadowrun. That's a gaming term from a post-apocalyptic game called Shadowrun. And a rigger literally taps into vehicles and what have you. Okay, that's what that term is. Okay, Yeah, Dave has some phenomenal encounters. And fortunately, I have been privy to some of the ones that he's gone through. I even went down years ago. I went down to the Forest Moon Paracon. Right. I actually went down as a speaker. Oh yeah, I went down as a speaker, and the time that I spent with Dave was extremely enjoyable. He comes across in a certain way on the screen here. But the thing you got to remember about Dave is he is real. Okay, he has absolutely concrete boundaries, and he will do his best to treat people properly. Okay, it was funny because 8 years ago when I first met him, as a matter of fact, let's do this. This is the link to Dave's show. Okay, so do drop in, give it a listen. If you like what he says, give him a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Okay, because he's got some really neat guests. Now, I absolutely will stand here and tell you, well, sit here. Well, that's the problem there, Derek. I do agree with you. No, I don't think we're going to be planning for the 2015 party. I was looking at that Black Dragon, and yeah, I would be inclined to say so. Yeah, let me just see something here. See, you can't see it. I don't think I can even tilt it for you. Not well. Okay. But I've got one of the two lights that's up there is out. But yes, there does seem to be a real fluctuating energy level. I don't know if that means that I'm going to lose a light. Okay, or if it just simply means I've got energy fluctuation going on. Could be either one. Yeah, Derek's just telling next year's SOR party is in Reno, even further away. See, the cat's there at this point, assuming they don't do something stupid with travel again. That one I'm actually planning on being at. You know, so I mean, I would have gone to this one, but there were way too many hiccups. Right now, I've got all kinds of things I got to worry about. But I am bound and determined to turn things around for me. Okay, so I've already got listed here after tonight. Like once I'm done this stream. Okay, those of you that are getting the newsletter. Okay, it'll be going out. The electronic one will be going out tonight. And the fact I'm telling that to you right now, quite literally, it's a way of my ensuring that I get off my tail feathers and do things. It's a process, but it's one that's got to happen. This will actually be the fourth one. July was the first. July went out, September went out, or August went out, September is out. October is one that's about to be sent. Now, let me see here. Derek. Yep. Oh. That would be where the catch is. But yeah, Derek, yours will be coming out tonight. Actually, I wonder if I can do that while I'm here. Where are we? We go to all I have to do is open that up. And we go compose. And let's see if this works. Hmm. You didn't get the third one. Okay, Derek, just making a note of that. Let's see, Derek, which is September and October have to go. That's the easy part to deal with. Okay, one of the problems of trying to deal with tech is it can get really screwy on occasion. But I've got you listed down. I'm going to actually send as soon as I figure out where the heck it is. D. This one is what's getting sidetracked a bit. Oh, there we are. Oh, that's why. Try that. If I take that and we go. Now, why, pray tell? Okay, I don't have that. Oh, where are we here? Oh, hello, Diane Desiree. Hope you are feeling better. Yeah, I'm looking into the merchandising side of things there, Kevin. Because again, I've got to do something, and obviously, I'm going to have to learn from you guys. I thank you so much for that, Emmy. I'm really relying on you guys for insight and for ideas on how to make things work. Because I'll tell you, the so-called professionals have been absolutely useless. Okay, all they've done is manage to cripple me in a lot of ways. Metaphorically speaking, I'm talking marketing wise. You know, but I cannot rely on them. This much is blatantly obvious to me. What I can do is I can certainly rely on your guys' support. This has been proven time and time again. Okay, because I'm looking at the way the world is and going, um, Kevin goes, now what PayTel is the microphone? I haven't actually looked at Dave's merchandise. I've got to look into that side of it and see what I can do. You know, but again, it boils down to doing that really what is, in all fairness, the boring side of the marketing side. I do appreciate that, Derek. I will have to connect with you. I think I've got your number here. Should go there. Whoop, go there. Go to there. Yep, I do. I don't want to talk to that one. Okay, I'm just making a list of different people I've got to talk to because I got to do something that changes this, so we can start this ball rolling and really get people on the right track. And when I mean the right track, I mean the idea of getting people to feel better about each other, to communicate more effectively with each other. Okay, I've got all these great plans, poorly thought out, it turns out. I should have got things organized first. See, I did something really weird tonight. Weird for me, because what I ended up doing was making, well, I guess you'd have to call it macaroni, sort of. But I threw in fresh vegetables, and we didn't use hamburger. We used ground elk instead. Whatever is left over after tonight will simply be frozen. But I threw a little bit just for a bit of a kick. threw a little bit of, now what the heck was it? Cayenne into the sauce, right? And even my son, who doesn't do spice very well, even he said it had a little bit of a bite, but he did enjoy it, which is frankly a surprise from my end. And here we go into the cooking and what not to cook. What not to cook or what not to try, in my opinion, don't make the mistake of trying ketchup and ice cream. I tried it once, it was a bad idea. It just didn't work out all that way for me. Yeah, football I do. There's a local butcher here. I went directly to him, and then just about a month ago now, went directly to him and got him to order me a leg of elk. I don't do the heavy spice in the first place. I've had the Rouge hot sauce, but I don't like it that hot really for it. I don't mind a little bit of a bite, but I find for me it's uncomfortable. So I just don't do it. And of course, the fact is people say that spice adds a flavor to it. When you've got no taste buds to speak of, that flavor doesn't work out quite as well. You know, I did, however, when I took my bartending course, I love seafood. Okay. I mean, I've basically got a seafood diet. I seafood, I eat it. But no, I really do enjoy, you know, proper clam chowder. Okay. I don't like the Boston. I don't like the orange stuff. Okay, it doesn't have the right flavor to it. But I absolutely like your clam chowder, your steamed oysters. Crab, I find too finicky. I like crab meat itself, but crab and lobster on the plate, I find too finicky. Okay. I love steamed clams. Steamed clams dipped in vinegar, absolutely great. You know, this sort of thing is just plain normal for me. You know, but I will tell you, much as I do like anchovies, I do not like a caviar. And on top of it being really fishy in flavor, it has a texture that I'm just not impressed with. But yeah, seafood itself, I grew up on Vancouver Island. So seafood was just normal. We used to go down to the beach, down to the clam field, and we'd dig up fresh horseshoe clams, and then my uncle would make fresh clam chowder on the beach. And I'll tell you, that was something to try. You know, but I'm looking at this point going, okay, how can you I don't think I was ever in there. I'm just trying to think. Whereabouts, Forest? Whereabouts is Nantucket Island? Ange, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The thing is, I'm looking for how I can actually make things happen. I've got to turn things really around. Where are we here? I cannot give you an answer to that one, Nathan. By the way, Nathan, welcome aboard. And I will tell you, the show last night was an absolute riot. Ah, that would be why I don't know where it is. Let me see here. Go back up, minimize that, and this is the link to. Oh, maybe I did put it in there. I don't know. But this is the link to Nathan's show. Maybe I put it in once already. I don't know. It's not going to cause a problem. This is the link to Nathan's show. Absolutely drop by, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, come right out and give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Last night was an absolute riot. But what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at all you people You've all got goals, you've all got dreams that you would like to see happen. You may not at this point know exactly what they are, but I'm absolutely certain you've got them. So, what I'm looking at is what can I do to help make those dreams a reality? The nice part about it, when we take a look at it, okay, is by sharing our own experiences, by sharing our own dreams with each other, it makes it that much more readily available. That funny little book, okay, that's the one that changed everything, or more to the point, explained how everything changed for me. Okay, but that was because, oh, ouch. Nathan's just informing us, almost got hit on the way to work. 30-second vid just uploaded. You know, that I'm fine. I'm glad it was only just about got hit. That's there is so many, so much, there's so many people out there with licenses right now that I question how they got them. The other day going through the parking lot, going through the parking lot at the local grocery store, I nearly got hit half a dozen times in the parking lot by people trying to do the highway speed limit. Yeah, Nathan goes, I forgive the guy. It must be a strange road for him. Yeah, one that, it's got this little yellow dotted line running down the middle, maybe white, I don't know. But he's got this little dotted line running down the middle. You know, it's a very weird setup. You know, I mean, I have tried forgiving people for this kind of behavior, but the thing I look at is this: a road is a road is a road. Okay, whether it's out in the country or in the city, the rules on the road still apply. The only time I can see that being a real viable complication, and then you should have adjusted for it ahead of time, was if you're used to driving in North and South in North America, okay, and you go to another continent, you may have to switch sides of the road, and that can throw you. You know, yeah, he was that. There's no question there. The one thing I have to keep looking at is this. We've got to find a way, and this is why I've taken to some of the layout with the new newsletter. Okay, where is it? Ouch. Um, oh, gotta do that tonight too. I'm just digging out a file here that I'm going to need in a little bit. There it is. Just dawned on me it wasn't out. Where are we? Unfortunately, we have to take a look. I wonder if I go over to that. Where are we? And we go to where is Facebook. I'm just calling up Facebook to see if it shows up here. Oh, well, let's not do that because that's just throwing me for a loop. But Nightmare, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Didn't actually see you come in because I was too busy doing something completely lost in my own mind. Obviously, we have a bit of a problem here. Okay. And that is my ability to focus seems to be a little scrambled to say the least. That's the newsletter is going. That's the phone call I gotta make there. I do have to do my profile updating because if I don't get started on this stuff, it's never going to happen. The one thing I will tell you, and I've told you before, having a list works great if you actually follow it. Okay, if you don't follow it, all it becomes is another sheet of paper. And somehow that doesn't seem to work that well. But just to be clear, Derek, I do have you listed to get both September's and October's newsletter out to you. Okay, that way you've got both of them. Because I've got you listed as hard copy. All of the hard copies I'm going to be sending out on Tuesday, probably on Tuesday. Okay. Let me just see here. Matter of fact, I will do that. Because, see, if I do it on Tuesday when I go out, yeah, I go out on Tuesday, then I get to stop for lunch. But if I go out tomorrow, saves me a fair chunk of change. So I think what I will do is go, where are we here? Oh, what am I thinking? Hard copies I can drop into the mailbox here in the apartment. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Nathan. That's actually half my problem. That is something, we're getting to that point. Can you believe we are already in October? And this whole idea here that you brought up here, Philip, this whole idea of, check your list twice, naughty or nice. I've already started wrapping gifts for total strangers because it's stuff that I know and that I've got that still has value, but I don't see the point in dumping it into a secondhand store when people may be able to put it to use. You know, the reality of it is this. Okay, so I got emails have to go out and the hard copies. That should be there. So those will all take place tonight. The hard copy newsletter will I've got the stamps here. So it's just a question of putting them in envelopes and walking them down to the end of the hall. Yeah, you noticed that too, eh, Nathan? And I still feel like I'm behind the eight ball. Nathan's just saying it was just 1999 the other day. I used to watch 1999 way back in the 70s. Also known as Space 1999. But no, I'm looking at this. So the newsletters, not only will I get the soft copies out tonight, but I'll get the hard copies into the mail. The fact that I'm telling you this, literally for me, means I'll make it happen. Okay. Now, you know, we did survive Y2K. I was really disappointed. I found out Y2K was going to be a problem literally a week before it became a theoretical problem. You know, I mean, I'm looking at this going, okay, why do people not tell me the world's going to end early? So I can at least have a party. You know, like you take a look at Independence Day. They had a party on the roof. Now, I don't think they were intending on dying that day, but hey, what the heck, it worked like a blast. So I've got those going on. I do have, oh, and once I've done that, I'm going to be up until, well, we get done here in about a half an hour. And Sunday. I think Sunday. Sure, stop myself mid-sentence. That's Saturday. Oh, okay. Yeah, just a quick heads up, guys. We're going to copy this. This is a quick heads up for you. Because World Bigfoot is on, quite seriously, and this may sound counterproductive. He is on effective in 4 minutes. Okay, but that's the link to check out his show. And yes, I realize I've still got a half an hour. I'm still telling you, check out World Bigfoot's video stream. He's got some phenomenal footage and some great insight in there. Definitely drop in, give him a look. I did that one day. I filled out a check one day. It was actually back in 96. I filled out a check for the veterinarian where it said 1986. I did exactly the same thing you did, though. I went, what year are we in? And I'll tell you, it causes a real confused look on people. Although it is kind of funny to watch. Where are we? You know, it is kind of comical watching people's confused reaction. But well, that's just it. And I still haven't contacted anybody. I've got to talk to somebody about walk-ins, because much as I've got some experience with them, it is certainly not my forte. You know, the way I look at it, every time something happens, you cannot undo what you've already done. You cannot unsay what's already been said, and you cannot unthink it. See, the only reason I look forward to Halloween is because it's still a month ahead of me. I used to spend a lot more effort on Halloween, and yes, I am still debating what I'm going to do about that, but can't tell you that for certain until, frankly, Halloween. I can tell you I'm not going to be doing a whole lot complicated, but then I haven't done anything for Halloween in what, 30 years, maybe 40. Well, that's always fun. Tim Othman, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, I hope your day has been going well. Yeah, it's amazing. You pull something like that, and they'll sit there looking at you going, okay, what are you on, or where the heck did you come from? I had the same problem when I pulled into a little tiny town. I believe it was Salmo, but I might be wrong there. Pulled into a tiny little town up north of here. Right. And somewhere on the way to from Kamloops to Castlegar. And I pulled in there. I'm totally lost. Went into the gas station. I says, "Can you tell me what town, what city this is?" She takes a step back from the sand, from the counter, and goes, "City?" I said, "Yeah, place." So she tells me. I says, that didn't help a whole lot. I believe usually we get bucked off because we don't hang on tight enough. But I absolutely agree with you, and this is what I was talking about the whole idea of bringing the past celebrations. Okay, bring them back so that we can start looking forward to the odd thing, to the different things in life. Everybody that I know of, everybody likes to enjoy themselves. They have different ways of doing it, but it's time we start focusing on that aspect. Now this is Y12. I've got to do soft to hard because there's a couple of things you got to deal with there. But I'm looking at this world going, okay, are we actually making things happen? And if not, why not? Well, as you can tell when you look at if you look at my bed behind me here, this is a file I just picked up. That's got this file here has the hard copies of the newsletter. What is this stack? That I think is gaming stuff. But you take a look at your life. Look at my life. I look at my life and go, I'm no longer entirely content, so it's got to change. Okay, and the only way that's going to happen. I'm presuming there is a Kennedy Memorial down. I like the people that go to Washington State. Now, in Washington, I would be classified as a tourist. But you look at the skyline, it's not that hard to find the Washington Monument. But I always get a kick out of questions like, what state is the Washington Monument in? I'm thinking, probably Washington. But, I am absolutely not the one to talk to about not knowing where things are. See, when I was just out of high school, okay, when I got into heavy drinking, we found a reason to party too. That reason usually boiled down to, hey, I woke up. That's a reason to party. Absolutely, Joe, and strong recommendation. Okay, if you've got a camera that can take pictures at night, I really strongly suggest you keep one handy. Okay, for the ghosts, it's not an invasion of privacy. I am not a geographer. I did take geography when I was in high school, but I never did get a handle on it. Of course, when I was growing up, I was always told you can't draw a line in the sandbox and go, you're not allowed to cross that. I could never wrap my brain around the idea of drawing a line on a piece of paper, okay, and going, you're not allowed to cross that. Humans are humans. You may have a different color. You may like different people to sleep with. You may vote differently. You may speak a different language, but you're still human. Okay. And I can't begin to tell you the number of people I've talked to that have gone, I'm not human. I'm an alien. Your last lifetime, you may well have been, and it is quite probable in some of these people's cases that remembering an alien, a former life on a different world, is more prominent than this lifetime, and that can create complications. But here's the kicker to it: if you're on this planet and you're looking like we do, and I don't mean the exact appearance, Lord knows I should probably do something with my hair again. Either that or just grab a fork and light socket and get it to stand up. You know, I told the barber the other day, the last time I got it cut, which was about 6 months ago, I told her, I said, look, don't bother changing the style. It's been this way for 45 years. I'm not changing it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's too much of a hassle. And that's a useless piece of information for the day. Okay. But when we look at the world, most of the people on this planet, most of the people you see in human civilization are human. Well, here's one for you, Philip. Okay. And here's a neat little idea. It just dawned on me. Well, it actually dawned on me when I wrote it. But here's a hidden secret about the Yldrbacian Chronicles. Okay. With the Yldrbacian Chronicles, the streets that you see listed, number one is their anagrams. Okay, meaning I take the letters from an existing street, rearrange it in Kelowna. Okay, and you can take a look. If you take a look at the map of Kelowna, you'll be able to get an idea of where some of these things take place. Now, I've had to make some modifications for obviously artistic reasons or literary reasons. Okay, but if you look at the map of Kelowna, BC, for those of you that have already got this book, the city this takes place in is a city called Kenelo. Okay. Well, if you look at the spelling for the word Kenelo, okay, you're looking at Kelowna. And then you can take a peek around. Thank you so much for that, Forrest. I've got, and yes, I still have them in stock. But, to every one of the characters in there are based on either characters that were built or people and or events that I've personally gone through. Okay. So, this is sort of an issue of write what you know. And I have started putting together an interactive book. I'm absolutely certain it won't be ready for this Christmas. I just don't have the time. But am I writing? Pretty much all the time. When I get done tonight, well, as it turns out, because I took a little bit of a break this afternoon. So I'll be spending a lot of time. Where are we? What do I do with my book? Or with my box? Right there. AM, which is 13, 26, 39. So I've got 39 newsletters that have to go out tonight. Either soft copy or hard copy. Soft copy, you guys will have them tonight. Hard copy, I can't tell you. So I mean, from that standpoint, hopefully everything works out well. I know they'll all go out tonight because this is something I've just decided it's happening. Okay. In your case, Derek, let me think here. Because Derek, I assume you're still in the building. Let us see. Wonder if I've got that. Let us go up here. And we go to in there. And let us go find. Well, that's just terrible. I wonder if I've got it here. Whoa. Let us try this one. Well, that is absolutely terrible. Derek, if you're still in the house, very important little factor. I don't know if you actually gave it to me here. Let's just take a look. I'm just scanning back through. I know I've got the phone number, but what I don't have. I'm just scanning through. Oh, there we are. No, that's mine. Okay, well, that's annoying. That does create a little. Derek, if you would be kind enough to either email me or, in your case, text me your email address, I will make sure that both of those copies get out to you tonight. Okay, well, the rest of them are going out. I just want to make certain. Yeah, absolutely, because I just want to make certain that it gets to you. I don't like losing track of things, but I do it regularly. Let's hit refresh here. Just waiting for that to pop up, see what we're up to. But it is time to start making things move. Where are we here? Okay. Yeah, I've got my phone right beside me, so that works out. Yeah. Well, that's like I've been all over BC and Alberta myself. But my problem is I get lost and I get flustered. But I get flustered, and when I get flustered, my brain goes on hold, which I think is pretty much normal for most people. But what I'm now looking at is I'm looking into expanding profiles and what have you. Uh-oh. What is this? Oh, nice. You know, I'm looking at the way the world is and going, okay, I'm sitting here spinning my wheels going, I've got to get this done. I keep telling myself that. I keep telling you that. But I am a much better procrastinator than I thought. And of course, like Nathan said earlier, this past week I've been letting the state of the world create one heck of a cross current for me. I cannot afford to do that anymore. You know, this is one of those situations where we have to take matters into our own hands and really shift gears. Because if I don't, here's the reality behind it from my end. Okay, from my standpoint, um, I have to look at it and go, right now, what do we got? Okay, I have it right here, Derek, and I will make absolutely certain that you get both of them tonight. Matter of fact, let me see here. That is not right. Okay, oddly enough, what the heck? Apparently, I hit the wrong button. I did. Well, I ain't gonna do that while I'm working because that ain't gonna work well. Uh-oh. Yeah, that'd be nice. I've got your email address and it will certainly go out tonight as soon as I get done this stream. Which, by the way, we are down to, where are we? Down to the last 15 minutes, which is great. I don't think I got very focused at all today, which is not a good thing. Tomorrow, on the other hand, tomorrow, and there's a whole pile of things to go with that. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking literally at the whole issue of, as a species on this planet, what are we? Are we an experiment? Are we an exercise in futility? Are we an ant farm? What's the situation? Okay. Now, I don't expect people to take my word for anything. Double check your own information. This is simply the way I see the world, which, yes, on occasion can really, you know, this is a situation where my mind can go really dark on occasion. Philip goes, it helps to keep your mind in healthy areas of thought. Not that that's easy. This is one of the reasons I don't actually watch the news, is I see way too many complications from people, that people focus on the negative things going on. And then they do stupid things like blowing up these tablets. Why blow them up? To what end? You can blow up a stump and help a farmer or help the road crews. Blow up a stump and get it out of the way so a road can be put through. Okay, but this idea of blowing up ancient artwork or ancient writings, to what end? These are the same people that are going to be completely lost if we ever have a massive EMP pulse. The electronics get taken out, and these same people are going to be going, oh my gosh, what do I do? Either that or they'll pull this one off. They'll sit there and they'll just look in the mirror and go, because they won't know which way to turn. And one thing I have determined is that we have to start passing on. You can't have any more tomorrows, Philip. Sorry. If you think about it, tomorrow never gets here. Tomorrow, if you think about it, today is the tomorrow we talked about yesterday, but today is also the yesterday we will talk about tomorrow. And by the time you get to tomorrow, tomorrow is today. So you only get one tomorrow. Okay. Now, the other thing you have to ask yourself, what if you had just a little more time? Much more importantly, in my eyes, what if you didn't? What if today was the last day that you had on Earth? The last time you had an option of seeing somebody? I told my boys the other day, my son, I was working at the computer. My son, my eldest, came in and he went to say goodbye. And I made the mistake of not getting up, to go and give him a hug. Well, when he got home, I mean, it threw me off for the rest of the night. But when he got home, I told both my boys that, this doesn't work for me. It really throws me if we don't get a hug goodbye from you before you leave. Okay. So, needless in net result, both my boys go out of their way to make sure they give me one before they leave, and vice versa. Because the reality is, you may not have tomorrow. Okay, this becomes painfully apparent if you've ever suffered a heart attack, or, as in my case, suffered a fatal heart attack. Although, in my case, it's a little twisted. So that's going to take me probably an hour. That one, 2, 3. We are going on 6 because I will take long enough out. I don't know. Does anybody know if wrestling is on tonight? Because I've taken to watching that with my son. But, when we take a look at this world, like I told them, it bothers me when I don't. Since then, that was about a week and a half ago, right? So now we all make a point of making absolutely certain that we do that. Primarily because, well, it threw me for a loop, so I figured best to correct it. So yeah, I'm looking at this. I've got probably 4 hours of work once I get done this stream. And I don't edit my streams. I simply let them go to post and be done with it. What is this? Compendium. See, it took me 10 seconds. And yeah, I'm certainly going to be up till midnight tonight working in the office. Yes, I will be taking time to get out. I've already had supper, so that's not a problem. But I do have to pack supper. The leftovers, more to the point. So this list, I'm going to quit adding to it. But just to be clear here, before we run out, what do we got? Yeah. Just to be clear, tomorrow we're going to look at are we actually an experiment or an ant farm, or what's the story? And if so, what can we do to make it more exciting? Let's do our part. Okay, let's assume for a moment you're part of an experiment or part of an ant farm. Let's make it more exciting for the people that are, for the people that are watching. Oh, Philip, I started off with All-Star Wrestling. You'd call it, it would be the vaudeville wrestling, the athletic wrestling. Yes, it's enjoyable to watch, but I personally I do like the things like the shows like Jesse Ventura, like Andre the Giant. I actually got hit. I went to a live show with Big Show, and Big Show literally ran into me. Oh, okay. So yeah, that I took my son and my sons to it. They do, and the thing is, we all know it's staged. Okay, we definitely, everybody that you talk to knows it's staged, but this does not discount their athleticism. It takes a lot of work. Okay, some of the storylines I get annoyed with because I do not, as the saying goes, you make a bad guy for everybody to hate. You really want the bad guy to be hateable, right? So you got somebody to hope for. I do my best with the Yldrbacian Chronicles to make sure the characters that you're seeing are either enough of a dipstick that you're not going to like it, or you're going to look at it going, he died. Yes. Or he got his comeuppance. Okay. And I do the same thing. I do my best to make the other characters as multidimensional as I can get away with. You know, the reality of the whole 9 yards is this. Where it comes to wrestling, it's a great distraction. I don't mind watching sport. Well, most sports I can sit and watch as long as I got something else to do. Because I'll be writing or working on something. Except I don't like watching hockey. Okay, yeah, I know. I'm a Canadian. I don't like watching hockey. Yeah, I don't. We've only been getting just back into it now in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know who LA Knight is. Okay. But, some of these people, I've watched them for years. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at Jeremiah, okay, you take a look at this. Okay. Now, if you look at him, he's got, the big hat, he's got the long coat. I built this about 10 years before The Undertaker actually took to the stage. Yeah, the funny thing is, I like when the wrestlers were in town here, and I forget the name of it. There's a local group that comes through here that, what the heck is his name? Mad Dog Marty. And I forget what his last name is. But the wrestlers that you see fighting each other in these, in WWE, a lot of them go out for beers after the show. It is a show. Yeah, see, I'm one of the few there football. I saw every one. As a matter of fact, I made a point of seeing every one of the Star Wars shows, of the Star Wars movies, when it first came out on the big screen. You know, I managed to see all 9 of them. Now, the fact of the matter is, there's people who'll say one's better than the other. To me, it didn't matter. It was a question of I desired to see all of them. And that's what I'm looking at right now with the different books I've got on the go. I just desire to get them finished properly. Okay, which is why I'm going to be working as much as I am tonight. But no, you've got to, when you're looking at the creative side of life, you've got to have characters that make you, that draw your attention in. They've either got to be absolute dipsticks for villains. There's another word for that, by the way. Real gems for your good guys, and you got to have these odd people. The other characters that require as much dimensional filling as possible. Filling. This is not a good way to speak. Every now and then you get tempted to go tap just to stop from the stutter. Honestly, Philip, I meditate while I'm talking to you. So the answer to your question is yes, it does. But my brain is physically built in such a way that I can do both. It's a weird setup, but I will take the time. There are days when I'll be in a block and I'll go to bed. I'll wake up knowing exactly how the storyline has to go. Okay, I did that with one poem in particular. I wrote it, but the person left. The person I was writing it around left, and it wasn't until they got back to town. I worked on it for like 10 years, couldn't get it completed. They got back to town, I touched their hand, and all of a sudden I had the rest of the poem in place. You know, for me, I put myself where the character is. Like right now, well, I'll get into that in a couple of days. Okay, but meditation definitely helps to get a storyline in place. It boils down to visualizing it, feeling yourself in that position. Now, the neat part with this, bear in mind, I'm a pacifist, but the neat part with this story is there's two things about it. Okay, first of all, I visualize myself where Jeremiah is, what he's doing, what he's up to, what's he going to do. But if you look at the book, these two wolves, okay, when I first wrote the manuscript, when I first wrote the manuscript and sent it to my artist in England, he came back and he designed the front. He gave me the picture with the wolves in place. They weren't part of the story, okay, but he came back with the picture, so I wrote them into the story. Net result, they're there. But now where are we here? We are literally at that point. So, again, guys, tomorrow, let's take a look. Like tonight, I'm going to tie this thing off, but tomorrow, we're going to look at the situation of Earth, of mankind. Are we an experiment? Are we just simply an ant farm? What are we, and what can we do to make it better? And I do mean better as a species, not only as individuals, but what are the ramifications that occur with that? Okay. On the 26th, I'm going to go into what I've done now that I've gotten back into game mastering. I do not like that word. Now that I've gotten back into game mastering, I'm going to talk about some of the changes that I've brought about to make it more enjoyable or more exciting for the characters. Yeah, I agree with you there, Philip. And I am looking at, one of the things I am looking at, you guys asked me, am I going to do anything about Halloween? I haven't quite decided. Thank you so much there, Derek. The reality is, if you do not treat your family as an important aspect, they're not going to learn to do that to their families. Okay, and I see way too many problems there. But I will be back again tomorrow. Again, I usually run literally from Friday to Wednesday, from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. But I will be back again tomorrow, unless I die, which has not been left out of the equation. Until then, however, I do encourage you, do your best to enjoy yourself. Okay. And absolutely, until we meet again, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.